The cafeteria buzzed like a hive, trays clattering, laughter echoing, the smell of pizza and fries thick in the air. In the far corner, a new girl sat alone. Aaliyah. Her lunch was quiet homemade, wrapped in foil, just like her silence. She tried to blend in, head down, earbuds in, hoping the day would pass without notice. But then came Tiffany. Blonde, confident, surrounded by her giggling entourage, the kind of girl whose footsteps made people move aside. She stopped at Alia's table, eyes glinting with mockery. "Well, look who we have here. New girl thinks she's too good to talk?" Tiffany smirked. Her friends chuckled. Aaliyah said nothing. Tiffany leaned closer, voice louder now, enough for half the cafeteria to hear. "What's that accent? You sound like you came straight out of some Backstreet movie." Laughter erupted. Phones lifted, recording. Aaliyah's fingers tightened around her fork. Her eyes lifted calm, unflinching. For the first time, Tiffany hesitated. And then, Aaliyah spoke. Just one sentence. The laughter died. Forks froze midair. Silence spread like a wave. What she said next changed everything. The first week at Jefferson High was like walking into another world. Aaliyah hadn't expected it to feel this different. Back in Atlanta, she'd gone to a school where everyone talked loud, laughed louder, and nobody cared what brand of sneakers you wore. Here, everything felt polished, practiced, even the smiles. She stood in front of her locker that Monday morning, clutching her notebook like a lifeline. Her curly hair framed her face, a little frizz from the morning humidity, and she could already feel eyes on her back. The whispering had started before she even opened the lock. "Who's the new girl? She talks funny. I heard she moved here from the South somewhere." Aaliyah pretended not to hear. She wrote in her journal between classes, short lines, quiet thoughts, pieces of stories she never said out loud. Writing was the only place she felt like herself, her dream. To become a writer who told stories that mattered, but right now, her story felt like something she wanted to erase. That afternoon, she found herself sitting alone in the courtyard, sketching ideas for a poem. Her mom's words echoed in her head like a heartbeat. "Never let anyone make you small, baby. You were born to stand tall." Her mom, working double shifts at a diner 2 towns over, called every night. She'd ask the same question in her soft Georgia drawl. "They treating you okay, baby girl?" And Aaliyah always answered, "Yeah, mama, I'm fine." But she wasn't, not really, because Jefferson High had a queen and everyone knew it. Tiffany Reynolds. Blonde hair always perfect, nails like glass, every post on Instagram framed in golden light. She was captain of the cheer team, class president, and the unofficial gatekeeper of popularity. Teachers adored her, always smiling, always volunteering, always pretending. But the students, they knew the other side. The whispers, the fake compliments, the power games. Tiffany's charm wasn't kindness. It was currency. By Wednesday, Aaliyah had already crossed her radar without even knowing it. It started small. A comment on Tiffany's story about new kids trying too hard. A few girls laughed in the hallway, whispering she means her. Then came the stares at lunch. The mocking giggles when Aaliyah unpacked her lunch collard greens. Cornbread and chicken her mom packed that morning, it wasn't what they said. It was how they looked at her, like she didn't belong. Still, Aaliyah refused to shrink. She focused on her classes, her notebooks filling with new poems. One of her teachers, Mrs. Carter, noticed her writing. "You've got a voice, Aaliyah," she said after class one day. "Don't hide it."
What?
That was the first time anyone had said something kind all week. But Tiffany didn't like being ignored. Friday came. The day everything changed. The cafeteria buzzed with noise, students crowding around tables, phones flashing. Tiffany sat in her usual spot at the center of it all, surrounded by her loyal circle. Maddie, Chloe, and Kayla. Aaliyah walked in, tray in hand, scanning for an empty seat. Her eyes caught a small table where 2 kids waved her over shyly. They'd been friendly earlier in English class. "Hey, you can sit here," one said. Aaliyah smiled. "Thanks." She sat down, grateful. But a few tables away, Tiffany noticed. She tilted her head, smirked, and whispered something to her friends. Maddie laughed. "You're not gonna OIM?" Tiffany said, standing up. Her heels clicked on the cafeteria floor as she walked toward Alia's table, slow and deliberate. Conversations around them started to fade. It was like everyone could sense a storm rolling in. Alia didn't see her at first. She was laughing softly with the two new friends, talking about how weird the school lunches were compared to back home. Then came the shadow, tall, poised, dripping with superiority. "Hey, new girl." Alia looked up. Tiffany smiled, but it wasn't warm. It was a smile sharpened like a blade. "You didn't say hi all week," Tiffany said sweetly. "Rude, right?" Alia blinked, confused. "Sorry, I didn't." Tiffany's friend snickered behind her. "Oh my God." That accent, one whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. Alia's stomach knotted. The cafeteria seemed to grow quieter by the second. Tiffany's eyes flicked to Alia's lunch. "What's that? Did you bring homemade food?" She leaned in dramatically. "Ah, that's cute." Laughter rippled through the nearby tables. Alia's fingers clenched around her tray. Her mom's voice echoed in her mind again. "Never let anyone make you small." She wanted to stand up to walk away. But her legs felt heavy, rooted to the spot. Tiffany wasn't done. "You know, at this school, we don't really do things like that. Maybe next time, just bring something normal, like everyone else." The laughter grew louder. Alia's heart pounded. Every eye in the cafeteria was on her now. But behind her fear, something else was rising. Quiet, steady, powerful. She stood slowly, the chair scraping the floor. Tiffany blinked, surprised. Alia lifted her gaze, steady, unflinching, and met Tiffany's perfectly made-up eyes. And in that moment, something shifted Friday. The kind of day when everyone's half dreaming about the weekend. The cafeteria buzzed louder than usual, gossip bouncing from table to table, music playing off someone's phone, the clatter of trays mixing with laughter. Alia stood at the entrance, clutching her tray. Chicken sandwich, milk, an apple. Simple. She scanned the room for that one friendly table, the same two kids from English class, Jaden and Sierra. They waved her over again, smiling. She felt relief flood her chest. "Maybe today won't be so bad." Double quotes. "Yo, Alia, over here," Jaden called. She smiled, sliding into the seat beside them. They talked, soft, easy conversation. About assignments, music, how weird cafeteria pizza tasted. For the first time, she laughed. It wasn't loud, but it was real. But a few tables away, Tiffany Reynolds noticed. Her glossy lips curled into a smirk as she scrolled her phone, seeing Alia laughing. "Oh, she's getting comfortable now," she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Her friend Maddie leaned over. "You're gonna let her just sit there like she owns the place?" Tiffany rolled her eyes. No. I think she needs a welcome from me." She stood up, adjusted her pink designer jacket, and strutted across the cafeteria like it was her runway. Her crew followed, three shadows feeding on attention. The laughter around the room started to fade, replaced by low murmurs. Everyone knew Tiffany loved an audience. She stopped at Alia's table. Tray still in her hands, smile sharp as glass. Well. Look who's finally brave enough to sit with people." Her tone was playful, but there was venom underneath. Alia looked up, confused but polite. "Hi." Tiffany cocked her head. "Oh, she talks." "Y'all, she actually talks." Laughter bubbled up from the tables nearby. Alia felt heat creeping up her neck. She looked down at her food. "What you eating?" Tiffany asked, leaning over her tray. Oh, is that? What? Leftovers. It looks like dog food." The cafeteria erupted in laughter. Someone actually barked like a dog. Alia froze. Her throat tightened, but she forced herself to breathe. Tiffany wasn't done. She pulled out her phone, recording on Snapchat. "Say hi to my followers, new girl. Tell them what's for lunch." Jaden tried to intervene. "Yo, chill, Tiffany. That's not cool." Tiffany turned her icy stare on him. "Did I ask you?" He went quiet. Then, like an accident that wasn't an accident, Tiffany tripped. Her juice spilled all over Alia's tray, splashing across her shirt. "Oh my God," Tiffany gasped, mock shock all over her face. "Oops, clumsy me," her friends laughed. The cafeteria joined in. Phones pointed like weapons. Alia's breath hitched. Her hands trembled. For a moment she wanted to run, to escape, to disappear. Her mother's voice whispered again, "Never let anyone make you small." Slowly, she stood. Her hands brushed off the spilled drink. The laughter began to fade, replaced by murmurs. Something in her movement, calm, deliberate, shifted the air. Tiffany crossed her arms, expecting tears, an outburst, anything she could mock. But instead, Alia picked up her tray, what was left of it, began walking, not toward the trash, toward Tiffany's table. The room fell silent. Even the music stopped. Step by step, Alia walked across the cafeteria. Heads turned. Conversations froze. You could hear the echo of her sneakers on the floor. Tiffany frowned. "What are you doing?" Alia didn't answer. She stopped right in front of Tiffany's seat, placed her tray gently on the table, and met her eyes. Her voice was calm, measured but powerful. "You know, people who laugh at others usually fear being seen themselves." Her words cut through the air like lightning. For a second, no one moved. The laughter evaporated. Tiffany blinked, caught off guard. "What? What did you just say?" she stammered, forcing a laugh. But nobody laughed with her. Alia held her gaze for a heartbeat longer, then turned and walked away, quiet, graceful, steady. The sound of her footsteps filled the silence she left behind. Tiffany's friends exchanged confused glances. The cafeteria stayed still, eyes following Alia until she disappeared through the doors. Then whispers began to ripple through the crowd. What did she mean? "Yo, that was deep! She really said that to Tiffany?" Phones buzzed. "Clips already uploaded?" By last period, the video was everywhere. A new girl stands up to Tiffany Reynolds and silences the whole cafeteria. On TikTok, the caption read, "She said one sentence." And the bully shut up. Comments flooded in. "She's brave. That girl's a queen." About time someone stood up to Tiffany. By the time school ended, Alia had no idea her quiet strength was becoming viral fuel. She walked home like nothing happened, earbuds in, hoodie up, unaware that millions of eyes would soon see what happened in that cafeteria. Meanwhile, Tiffany sat at her table long after lunch ended, staring at her untouched food. The laughter she lived on had vanished. For the first time, she felt something new. Something that didn't fit in a selfie or a caption. Shame, Tiffany tried to laugh it off. All afternoon, she scrolled through her phone, pretending the moment in the cafeteria hadn't shaken her. Her friends tried to, forcing shallow giggles. "Girl, forget her," Maddie said. "She's nobody," Tiffany replied with a fake smile. Nobody. But later that night, she opened TikTok. Her notifications were on fire, thousands of them. Clips of Alia standing tall in the cafeteria had flooded every feed. People she'd never met were stitching the video, reacting with shock, praise, outrage. "This new girl's a legend. Tiffany's been exposed." Imagine being that cruel for attention. The comments under Tiffany's own posts were worse. "You should be ashamed. Why bully people? This ain't cute, girl. The internet sees who you really are." Her most recent selfie, once filled with heart emojis and compliments, was now a wall of fire. For the first time, Tiffany felt the weight of silence, not the silence that follows laughter, but the kind that isolates. She refreshed her phone over and over, her heart racing faster each time. "No way," she muttered. "This'll die down. It always does. Die." By Monday morning, everyone had seen the video. Teachers whispered in hallways. Students stopped talking when she walked by. Even her cheer squad avoided eye contact. And then came the announcement over the intercom. "Students, reminder that harassment of any kind is unacceptable. We expect respect and kindness at all times." Tiffany's stomach sank. They weren't using her name, but everyone knew. A few lockers down, Aaliyah quietly unpacked her books. Her phone buzzed too, but with different energy. Messages, follows, comments. "You're amazing," that line you said. Chills. "You for showing strength without yelling." She smiled softly but didn't reply. She didn't like attention. She never wanted this to blow up. But deep down she felt her mom's voice echo with pride. "Never let anyone make you small." That afternoon she sat in the library writing. Words poured from her like they'd been waiting years to come out. "Power doesn't come from loudness," she wrote. "It comes from peace." She didn't post it. She just kept writing. Meanwhile, Tiffany's perfect world began to crack. Her teachers treated her differently now. Cautious, disappointed. Her followers dropped daily. The cheer coach pulled her aside, voice low but firm. "Tiffany, your behavior online reflects on the team. Until this blows over, you're benched." Her face fell. "Benched? You can't. It's not punishment," the coach said. "It's reflection." That word reflection felt like a mirror Tiffany didn't want to look into. At home, things weren't better. Her mother, usually distant but image-conscious, had seen the video too. "Tiffany Renee Reynolds," she said, voice icy. "Do you have any idea what this looks like? Our family name, Mom? It's not that serious." Tiffany snapped. "It's just a stupid video." "A stupid video watched by millions," her mother shot back. "You humiliated someone, and now it's humiliating you." Her father didn't say much, just looked at her disappointed. The kind of silence that hurt worse than words. Tiffany stormed upstairs, slamming the door. She scrolled again. Aaliyah's calm face haunted every feed. That quiet strength, those soft eyes, the way she didn't shout, didn't fight, didn't even need revenge. It burned her pride. How is she the hero now? Tiffany whispered. Days passed. The cafeteria felt different now. When Tiffany walked in, conversations didn't pause for her anymore. They just continued, as if she didn't exist. Aaliyah sat at her usual table this time, not alone. Jaden and Sierra were with her, laughing, comfortable. A few other students had joined them too. Tiffany watched from across the room, envy twisting inside her. She had always craved attention. But what Aaliyah had respect was something she couldn't fake. Her phone buzzed again. A text from Maddie. "Sorry, girl. I can't hang this weekend." "My mom doesn't want drama, RN." Another message. "Hey, Tiff, maybe lay low a bit. People still mad. I'm just like that." Her so-called friends disappeared too. That Friday, after school, Tiffany saw Aaliyah walking alone near the parking lot, headphones in. Writing in her notebook, something in Tiffany snapped. She marched toward her, voice sharp. "Hey!" Aaliyah looked up, surprised. "Hey, you ruined my life," Tiffany blurted. Aaliyah blinked. "What? My life? Do you even know what you did? Everyone hates me now. My friends ghosted me. My followers gone. My parents are mad. And it's all because of you." Aaliyah stayed calm. She closed her notebook gently. "I didn't ruin anything, Tiffany." "You did that yourself?" Tiffany's jaw clenched. "You think you're better than me now? Just because people like your little quote?" Aaliyah's voice was soft, but steady. "No, I just think people finally saw the truth. The truth." Tiffany laughed bitterly. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone." Aaliyah took a step closer. "No, Tiffany. I showed them you." The words hit harder than a scream. Tiffany looked away, blinking fast. "You don't get it. I wasn't trying to hurt you. It was just a joke." Aaliyah tilted her head slightly. "Was it funny?" Silence. The parking lot hummed with distant traffic. A wind brushed past them, rustling leaves like whispers of everything left unsaid. Aaliyah finally spoke again, her tone calm, almost like she was explaining something to a child. "Power doesn't come from noise, Tiffany. It comes from peace. From being able to stand still when everyone else is shouting." Tiffany frowned. "Peace doesn't get you anywhere. People forget quiet people." Aaliyah smiled faintly. Then why can't they stop talking about me? That line landed like thunder. Tiffany's face fell. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. Aaliyah didn't wait for one. She picked up her bag and walked away, the same calm. Graceful walk from the cafeteria, Tiffany stood frozen, staring after her. The same silence she once used to control others, now wrapped around her. That night, she couldn't sleep. She replayed Aaliyah's words again and again. Power doesn't come from noise. It comes from peace. She stared at her reflection. No filters, no makeup, no lighting tricks. Just her, and for the first time, she didn't recognize the girl in the mirror. All her life, she thought, being loud meant being strong. That being feared was the same as being respected. That controlling others meant winning. But now, she saw what real strength looked like, not in someone's voice, but in their silence. The next morning, Tiffany sat alone at her usual cafeteria table. No crowd, no laughter. Just her and the echo of her own thoughts. Across the room, Aaliyah walked in surrounded by new friends. She looked peaceful, grounded. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Aaliyah didn't look angry. She just nodded, small but meaningful. Tiffany nodded back. It wasn't forgiveness yet, but it was the beginning of something close. And while the school forgot 100 other dramas that year, they never forgot that one sentence. It lingered in the halls like a whisper. Can't dim someone's light just because it shines different. Tiffany didn't understand it yet, not fully, but soon. She would, because the real lesson was still coming. The gymnasium buzzed with energy that Friday night, the annual Jefferson High Talent Showcase. Banners fluttered. Lights flickered. Rows of students and parents filled the bleachers. For once, Tiffany wasn't in the spotlight. She sat backstage, her cue card trembling in her hand. Her speech, ironically titled Leadership Through Influence, suddenly felt like a cruel joke. She'd written it weeks before, back when she thought leadership meant popularity. But now every word tasted hollow. From the wings. She could see Aaliyah sitting quietly near the side curtain, notebook in hand, waiting for her turn. Her calm presence filled the room like quiet sunlight. The host's voice echoed through the mic. Next up, a spoken word performance by Aaliyah James. A hush fell over the audience. Tiffany looked up, heart pounding. Aaliyah walked onto the stage, slow, poised, her notebook pressed against her chest. The spotlight caught her curls, turning them gold at the edges. She looked small on the big stage, but somehow larger than anyone in the room. She adjusted the mic. Her voice, when it came, was soft, almost fragile. This piece is called The Weight of Words. Silence deepened. They say sticks and stones break bones, she began, but words break hearts. They echo in empty halls, hide in mirrors, live in the spaces between laughter and loneliness. Her voice grew stronger with each line. Some people think loud means strong, but real strength is when you stay kind in a room full of noise. When you choose peace instead of power, when you speak truth, even when your voice shakes. The audience sat frozen. Even the lights seemed to hold still. Tiffany's throat tightened. Each word hit her like a mirror, reflecting everything she had been. The cruelty, the laughter, the power games, all of it stripped bare under Aaliyah's gentle truth. Aaliyah's eyes scanned the audience, not accusing, not angry, just seeing, and for a second, they landed on Tiffany. Some people try to dim others, she continued, voice trembling now, because they think one light shining means less room for theirs. But light doesn't compete. It spreads. A single tear slipped down Tiffany's cheek. She wiped it quickly, but others saw. So, to the ones who ever felt small, Aaliyah said softly, "Remember this." She paused. The same calm that filled the cafeteria returned. The audience leaned in. You can't dim someone's light just because it shines different. The gym went completely silent. And then applause. It started with one person, then another. Then the entire room was on their feet, cheering, clapping, shouting her name. Tiffany stood slowly, hands trembling. Her mascara streaked, her heart heavy. She walked onto the stage before she could think twice. The applause softened to whispers. Aaliyah turned, surprised. Tiffany's eyes shimmered under the lights, this time not from pride, but remorse. "I'm sorry," Tiffany said, voice cracking through the mic. "I was wrong. About everything," the crowd murmured. Tiffany took a shaky breath. "You didn't embarrass me that day, Aaliyah. You showed me who I was and who I want to be." Aaliyah's eyes softened. She stepped closer, then opened her arms. Tiffany hesitated, then hugged her. The audience gasped, then erupted again, louder this time, but not for drama. For redemption. For forgiveness. As they stood there, lights blazing, applause roaring, Aaliyah whispered, barely audible above the noise, "Peace always wins."
All day.
Tiffany nodded. Tears spilling freely now. The spotlight dimmed. The applause swelled to girls once enemies, now standing side by side under the same light, and for the first time, Tiffany didn't need to be the brightest in the room. She was just grateful to stand in the glow. The days that followed the showcase felt different, lighter somehow. For the first time in a long time, the school wasn't buzzing with gossip or rivalry. It was buzzing with respect. Teachers replayed Aaliyah's poem on the morning announcements. Students shared clips on their stories, not to mock, but to admire. Even kids who'd never spoken to her before stopped her in the hallway. "Hey, that poem. It hit me. You really changed how people see things. Thank you for saying what we all needed to hear." Aaliyah smiled softly, always humble, always quiet. She never bragged, never reminded anyone of what happened. She didn't have to. The truth was already alive in the halls. Tiffany, meanwhile, started to walk a different path. At first, it was awkward walking into the cafeteria without her entourage, sitting down with people she used to ignore. The silence was deafening. But she didn't run from it anymore. She began volunteering in the counselor's office, helping organize anti-bullying workshops. She posted a video raw, unfiltered, no makeup, no filters, no music. "Hey guys, this is Tiffany. I've done some things I'm not proud of. I thought popularity meant power, but I was wrong. I hurt people, and I can't undo that. But I'm learning." The comments surprised her. It takes courage to admit that. "Growth looks good on you. We forgive you." For the first time, Tiffany's words didn't echo from pride. They came from truth. As the months passed, a quiet friendship began to form between the two girls. It started small nods in the hallway, smiles during lunch, brief conversations after class. Eventually, it grew into something real. One afternoon, they sat together in the library. Aaliyah was writing again, her pen dancing across the page. Tiffany leaned over. "You still writing that book?" Aaliyah smiled. "Trying to. What's it about?" "People, pain, change." She paused. "And forgiveness." Tiffany nodded slowly. "I like that last part." They shared a quiet laugh, not the kind built on social games or gossip, but genuine connection. For once there was no tension between them, just understanding. Two girls who had both learned in their own way how words could hurt, and how they could heal. Months rolled by. Winter turned to spring. One bright morning, Aaliyah's name was called over the intercom. "Congratulations to our student poet Aaliyah James for winning the National Young Voices Writing Scholarship." The entire cafeteria erupted in applause. Tiffany clapped the loudest. Aaliyah's eyes filled with tears as she walked to the front office to receive the letter. Inside was a note from the selection committee. "Your writing has the kind of honesty the world needs. Never stop speaking truth, even when your voice shakes." She held the paper against her chest, whispering, "Thank you, Mama." That night, she called her mother, her voice trembling with joy. "Mama, I got it. The scholarship." Her mom gasped on the other end. "Baby, I told you. God don't waste pain. He turns it into purpose." Leah smiled through tears. "I think you're right." Graduation came faster than anyone expected. The gym was decorated in blue and silver balloons, laughter filling the air, Aaliyah gave the closing speech that day, a last-minute choice by the principal, who said, "The whole school needs to hear from her." She stepped up to the podium, trembling slightly but smiling. "This year taught me something I'll never forget," she began. "That people can change. That silence can be strength. That even in the darkest moments, we have a choice to tear others down or lift them up." She looked out at the crowd and found Tiffany sitting front row, eyes glistening. "Sometimes," Aaliyah continued, "the ones who hurt us the most end up teaching us what compassion really means." A pause, then applause. After the ceremony, Tiffany found her outside. The summer sun painted the sky gold. "You were amazing," Tiffany said. "Like really amazing." "Thank you," Aaliyah said warmly. Tiffany hesitated. "Do you ever think things happen for a reason?" Aaliyah looked up, thoughtful. "Maybe not a reason we understand right away. But yes, I think even pain has a purpose." Tiffany nodded slowly. "Then maybe mine was to learn," Leah smiled. "And maybe mine was to forgive." They stood there for a while. No cameras, no audience, no likes or views. Just two people, breathing in the peace they both had earned. In life, not everyone gets a perfect ending. But sometimes healing isn't about perfection, it's about transformation. Tiffany learned that being loud isn't the same as being powerful. Aaliyah learned that forgiveness can be its own kind of strength. And both learned that words, the same ones that can wound, can also rebuild. Because sometimes the loudest power, it's spoken softly. And sometimes the ones they try to break become the ones who heal others. The camera would fade out on Aaliyah sitting beneath a tree, notebook open, writing her next poem. Tiffany joins her, dropping 2 cups of coffee beside her with a smile. Aaliyah looks up. "Thanks." Tiffany laughs softly. "Hey friends, bring coffee." The screen slowly blurs, their laughter echoing as the final words fade in. If this story touched your heart, share it and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that inspire change.